Hello, adventurers. So last week we recorded this big long episode and I was going to split it up into two. I had the whole thing planned out. It was going to be brilliant. But then my work schedule at the concert venue got nuts. And I mean like nuts. And I ended up not having a single second to work on my own projects and I couldn't get to the editing. So last week's episode release date came and went. And now to make up for it this week, I'm going to release what would have been parts 1 and 2 as one big episode. So we cool? We're cool? Cool. Everybody roll initiative.
Sometimes talking with friends feels like role-playing. Sometimes it feels like combat. Join us at the round table and roll initiative. This is Curmudgeons and Dragons.
Hello, adventurers. My name is Jason Portizo. Welcome to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Today, I am joined by everybody. I got everybody.
Huzzah!
I don't know
Josie Diaz is
anybody
here.
named everybody.
I've met some anybody's. I've met a lot of nobodies.
Anybody who's anybody.
Josie Diaz is here.
Hi.
Greg Genovas is here.
Hello.
And back from My Chemical Goddamn Romance,
MCR.
Jim Crocker's here.
Oh yes, yep. I'm not a vampire yet, but I did try this weekend.
Nice.
Do teenagers scare
us,
the living shit out of you?
They have since I was an actual teenager myself, so yes.
I think this scared me more when I was younger than a teenager.
I don't know.
Being
I
like
think they're
8 and seeing
kind
the
of
cool
threatening.
teenagers at the mall and like not wanting to go anywhere near them.
Oh yeah.
They may leave you alone, but not me.
Well, you have all the games. All right. So I want to take this show back to its roots today. Remember when we used to do fun stuff and not just like talk about horrible social problems at gaming tables?
Oh,
No.
cool. That must have been before I joined the show, yeah?
I want to revisit one of my favorite episodes that we did, and it's a follow-up to that episode that I promised we were going to do like a fucking year ago and then didn't. So it's been a while since we argued over characters in pop culture and what their D&D classes would be. So I figured we'd argue over some pop culture characters and what their classes would be. And
You do
today
know
we're
how I
doing
love to argue.
I know. So I thought I'd bring to the table the Disney edition.
Ooh.
I cannot stress how excited I am for this as a lover of Disney movies.
Would you call yourself a Disney adult?
No, I'm not
You-
quite that kind. That has very specific connotations behind it, and I am not one of them. And I certainly don't pay to go to Disney World.
Like, a lot of it has to do with how often you go to the park.
I don't. I've been
I
like
have friends-
twice.
I've actually had friends who, the one guy's wife like became, she started working for this like travel agency that like specifically did Disney tours.
Hmm.
And like A, because she already knew exactly how to have the perfect Disney experience, and B, so that they could have discounts on going to Disney several times a year.
I think I went to Magic Kingdom once. The bell on Tom Sawyer's Island did not have a ringer in it, which is that's understandable. That's fair. But the Swiss
Is it,
Family
though?
Robinson's
That doesn't sound fair.
Treehouse. No, it's not. But it's Disney, and realistically, there would never be a moment of silence if that bell actually rang. But the Swiss Family
Yeah, fair. Okay,
Robinson's
fine.
Treehouse is made of plastic, and I was like, I want to go home. I want to go back to Epcot.
I don't like this.
Everything at Disney is made of plastic, though. That's not a...
I know, but it was Swiss Family Robinson's Treehouse, and there was not a bit of wood to make it. I felt lied
Did
to,
they have an actual literal castle? They couldn't pull off a treehouse.
right? I don't know.
I was supposed to go to Disney later this year for a friend's wedding, and unfortunately, a fiance and I crunched the numbers, and we just cannot afford a vacation right now. So maybe next year. But I was looking forward to it. I had it on my calendar for months, and it broke my heart that I can't go. And I know Joe's listening right now, so he needs to know how bad I actually feel that I can't make it. All right, so enough of that. So I got here from gmbinder.com. I love this website. This is cool if you like a lot of homebrew stuff in your games. I'm not at the point in my DMing where I like a lot of homebrew stuff, but if it's going to be homebrew and it's going to be like somewhat vetted by someone who's making the website, it might as well be well put together. And GM Binder knocks it out of the park. Everything that is on this site looks like it came from a real supplemental book. And this is absolutely no different. So the link to this will be in the show notes. This is the Fairy Tale D&D characters on gmbinder.com. And what they did was they took a bunch. I'm not even really counting here, about 15 or so, maybe closer to 20 Disney characters, and gave them not only race and class, but even like broke down a chart of their notable strengths and weaknesses, playability and tips, whether they are designed for inexperienced players or anything like that. And not only gave us a character build so that we can translate that to a proper character sheet, but there's also stat blocks if you want to make an NPC out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is fantastic, and it's free, and link is in the show notes. I might build a little one shot around this just because this looks like a lot of fun.
This looks like so much fun.
So, right? So
I cheated. I'm
gonna
looking
read
now.
through. That's fine. I'm gonna read through their D&D interpretation on the chart here, and let's see what we all think. Sound good?
Yeah,
sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So first up, they've got Red Riding Hood. Was there a Red Riding Hood Disney thing?
I'm sure they have one of those like 5-minute shorts or whatever from way back in the day.
Was it like Over the Hedge or something like that? That wasn't Disney, was it?
No, that was Sony, I think.
Ugh, I mean, it wasn't good.
Or a Hoodwinked, I think
like,
is the Red Riding one.
Let's see, Red Riding
A 2011 film.
Disney search.
Oh, it's the one with Amanda Seyfried in it.
Yeah. Oh, the live action one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
I didn't even see it.
Do
I
love
didn't
Amanda
either.
Seyfried, though.
She sings a cover of a song that I really like in that movie.
Weird.
Yeah.
Do like her, though. Okay, weird place to start, but that's what they have first. Maybe they're going chronologically. I don't know, reverse chronologically.
Who knows?
Or maybe not.
In no particular order.
Because I think the next one is Disney's first movie. Wasn't Snow White their first one?
There was a little Red Riding Hood short that they made as part of the, it looks like the Silly Symphonies in the, like, this is probably in the 30s, 1934 short.
That was Red Riding Hood?
Yeah, that's what it looks like it's saying here.
Could be like the little
Uh,
cartoons they would play before movies.
Character in the Silly Symphony short, The Big Bad Wolf. And The Big Bad Wolf was released April 13th, 1934. And it looks like it's got Red Riding Hood and the Three Little Pigs kind of mashed up into
What is this, a crossover episode?
Yes, yeah, it's part of the Merry Melody-o-verse. So,
They're like, fuck it, it's public domain, throw them all in.
Yeah,
well,
probably.
This company might not last. We gotta milk Disney while it's still here.
mhm.
But yeah, the first actual full length was Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, 1937. Not even 10 years after Steamboat Willie, the iconic first Disney cartoon.
Oh, I have some of the cell art of that.
So do you really?
Yeah, my dad has it framed on the stairs going down to the basement.
That's actually pretty cool.
Thank you. Some of the things that I say can be cool to you.
I never said they couldn't. Just said they hadn't. Red Riding Hood. On with the fucking episode. Red Riding Hood. They're calling her a beast hunting ranger. Ranger with the subclass Beast Hunter.
Yeah, I was going to say same thing.
Yeah, this gives her a so notable strengths and weaknesses, and I believe this is specific to D&D. Has nothing to do with accuracy to the character, but giving her a beast hunting ranger gives her a high initiative, often going first. Good movement with Long Strider, Cure Wounds and Good Berry as healing spells, but not a big damage dealer, and pretty low AC, which is pretty common for beast hunters. But super easy for new players. And there's a couple of tips here on how to play that, which is general beast hunter stuff. But how do we feel about Red Riding Hood as a beast hunter?
I don't
mean,
have any.
Off the top of my head, it sounds more like the woodsman that rescues her that we're describing here.
I think the problem is going to be with
the beast is hunting her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the problem with a lot of these is the very passive female role that a lot of these heroines play in early Disney, early to mid to up until recently late Disney.
I'm completely on board with like this being who she grows up into, right? And like the Big Bad Wolf story is like her origin story. That's like her background.
Sure.
A wolf ate my grandmother, and now I have sworn to slay all wolves. So, like, honestly, that's like her gritty. This is her gritty backstory, and that's who she ends up as. I think that works great for me. Yeah.
For sure.
I like that much better than trying to figure out what else she could possibly be as the actual character of Red Riding Hood. So I was like, she can like cast illusions, I guess.
Do all Rangers get favorite enemy?
I believe so.
Or is that just Beastmasters?
I do not know.
What edition?
You asking me for D&D information,
Fair.
Jason?
5e.
5e. Everything's 5e.
Yes, yeah.
I forget if Rangers get if
it's a standard
favorite enemy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a standard class feature that they all get. It's like a defining class feature of being a Ranger.
So she can get beasts and very specifically wolves as her favorite enemy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. I do like the classic fairy tale as a backstory. It's a good idea. We got the 7 dwarves, all of them. It literally says 7 dwarves. Pick one. Sleepy. Okay, cool. We're gonna do Sleepy.
Which is the one in green? Is that Dopey?
Yeah.
Dopey's one that doesn't talk. Yeah.
He's a bad bitch too.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, actually, he's a baddie whacker.
They're calling the dwarves loyal paladins. Okay, that's where you get like, where the fuck do you see baddie whacker? What the hell is that? Yeah, they're for whacking baddies.
Yeah.
/ ally protector. Good high armor classes, protecting allies. Big damage with divine smites. Awesome against undead, and good healing with lay on hands.
Yeah.
Get in close and smite thy foes.
Are the dwarves paladins? I don't know that I love them as paladins.
No.
What would you have them as instead? Because I'm trying to think.
That's the thing.
I'm having trouble finding an adventuring class for them because they're very much commoners.
They're just dudes. Dudes being bros, doing their working class jobs.
Just seven bros living together, just broing out.
Yeah.
With some real tall lady who keeps getting food poisoning for some reason.
I know.
It was only the one time.
Just 7 bros sharing a bed while the one girl that they've ever seen
takes
stays
6
in
of
a
the other
different room.
minutes.
That's all.
Yeah.
Right. Goals, honestly.
Could you have them as a fighter?
Like maybe Grumpy, but
yeah, I feel like Dopey's a rogue.
Grumpy's a barbarian, obviously.
fair.
If anyone's gonna rage, it's gonna be Grumpy.
That's like part of I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, General Fighter is just that's a good fallback on just anybody who can pick up any weapon. They are clearly proficient with axes,
hammers. I'm assuming too.
At least pickaxes and hammers and stuff. Yeah, that seems a little fightery to me.
I like the idea of them as the protectors, though. Like I haven't watched Snow White in a whole hot minute, but looking back, that is the role I
have a vested interest in keeping her alive and well.
Yeah.
Like, what we need
they live in her house.
I mean, but my understanding is that like she does all the domestic work and stuff like that while they're out at the mines. So they've worked out that deal. What we need is like a return to classic, original Gygax D&D or like some OSR thing where dwarf is your class. That's what we need here, I think, clearly.
Yeah. Is there really like a direct line between what dwarf started as and like what the dwarf class is now? Did that become like, were they just like general fighters at the time, or fighter was a thing too, though?
Fighter was a thing. Man at arms was a thing. When the game first came out, but but like a dwarf was, you were like not necessarily quite as good at fighting, but you had you could see in the dark and you could identify the grade of a sloping passage and all this kind of stuff. You had all those, like stone shaping abilities and stuff like that. So, just in the same way that elf was a class, where basically what you were was a multi-class fighter magic user. But they treated it as its own thing. This is also back when, the XP rewards to level up were different depending on what class you had. So like rogues would level up faster than fighters and stuff like this. So but I mean, what they are is dwarves, kind of quintessentially. So
every time I hear more stuff like that, I'm more and more thankful for Milestone.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel exactly the same way.
All right. So as a 5e thing, I'm not mad at Paladin. I just think it would have to be fixed with a backstory,
and it's got to be low enough level that whatever lay on hands or remove curse ability they get, they couldn't just wake Snow White the fuck up.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So-
Worth noting that.
True Love's Kiss.
Yeah, okay.
Worth noting that as far as all of these are concerned, as and the way that these were all built from the person who made the homebrew, which is credited at the end here, I believe, which is credited to
Bum, bum, bum.
I don't know, some guy named Dan. That's all I got. Anticlimactic. I apologize.
Dan the
but
man.
These are all made to be
the
level
D&D
3.
man.
Level 3, yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Paladin, that makes sense that there'd be a curse they couldn't just wake her up from.
Just enough for everybody to get a subclass, even the ones who don't get it at level 1.
Sure.
They can do some fun stuff, some class feature stuff, but they're not great yet.
Yeah, Paladin, or they could be like a defender fighter or something like that.
Yeah.
That all makes sense.
Dig it. Let's get into some fun ones. We got Ariel.
My girl.
They made her a shape-shifting warlock, a changeling spellcaster and fighter.
I mean, quite literally, she makes a deal with a powerful magic user who is,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think that one's cut and dry.
What is Ursula if not a patron?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think that's going to be
She's
the most cut and dry one we got.
Yeah. Okay, so Ursula calling herself the Sea Witch. What subclass of warlock would have a witch as a
The
patron?
Fathomless.
Is it just because she's a deep sea thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down for it. I like it.
Is there a name for Cthulhu's fuck doll?
Cthulhu is basically like the quintessential Fathomless patron. I think that's
what
exactly
Ursula
they had.
is.
I think that's exactly what they had in mind without crossing into legal territory. By saying you can't say Pact of the Cthulhu without without the descendants of Lovecraft finding it.
Mm-hmm.
I like Ariel as a warlock, and like you could do some cool stuff without her needing to speak. Like you could fix that with like a message cantrip or something.
Or I'm sorry, Fathomless and not Deep Sea. The great old one from the Player's Handbook would be more of a.
I could see Ursula as a goo. I could goo lock.
I thought you meant like a
maybe.
legit, like a pile of goo.
Nope, a goo. And this is cool because, like, if this is a player character, then you have some changeling stuff. With you can even kind of nerf the changeling ability to only be able to go between fish form and humanoid form.
Yeah.
Is she dipping into wizard for one level to get find familiar so that she can have her little buddy there with her, or do you just hand wave that and let her have a little singing crab that hangs around?
They address that with can speak to animals without a spell slot. Is that like they just come in and tell her like you're being a dumb bitch, and she's like, I don't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
It's not your business.
I guess because they don't do everything she tells them to do, like, without questions. So that makes sense.
If I was DMing this, I would just kind of hand wave that and just have them be there strictly for roleplay.
Yeah,
and not
NPCs,
not let them have not let them really have any real effect on anything, especially not combat.
Yeah, because they hide whenever the shit hits the fan for the most part. So that's
what's a crab and a flounder
totally
going to do?
If you have a familiar or a pet or anything like that, and it is not participating in combat, I am totally fine giving it plot armor.
Yeah, sure. If it's got no mechanical juice to it, then yeah.
If there's no stakes to keeping it there, then I got no stakes to take it away.
Yeah.
Next, we got Mulan. This one's super easy. Actually, there's a couple directions this can go in because she's such a quintessential fighter. They're calling her a monk. And I don't know if I love calling her a monk.
No, I don't either.
Because she does use weapons.
She uses weapons. She's got that cool ass armor.
Yep.
Like, I think the whole fighter is literally every race but a little bit better, or every class but a little bit better. Because, like, she uses archery, she uses swords, she uses a fucking cannon.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
definitely a
we
polearm.
see her fight with her hands once, and she still uses a fan in that moment to fight.
Yeah.
Yep.
She spends a lot of time on horseback too, so there's that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would much rather call her definitely a fighter, possibly a battle master.
I can definitely see battle master.
Or it's because every fighter is proficient with just about every weapon, right? Like, is there a particular fighter class that takes more weapon styles or more fighting styles, or is that kind of all of them?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that's a fighter feature, not a subclass feature.
Yeah.
All the benefits that they list as monk are just like, I was like, okay, yeah, these are good things for monks, but don't necessarily have anything to do with Mulan. as a character in anyway.
We're treading dangerously close to just kind of a little bit of racial essentialism there too, where it's like, she's an Asian character, so she's a monk.
I don't want to hang too much on this because it's a whole can of worms. There's some potential Orientalism in there by calling her a monk, but
it does put that can of worms on the table where people can see it. So whether you're opening it intentionally or not,
I'm going to leave this closed can of worms right here, and you guys help yourself. But wait till after the episode.
Fighter works better anyways, my favorite.
Fighter absolutely works better. Yeah. However, there's a lot of these characters that could potentially be fighters, and for diversity's sake of this particular list and using it as a homebrew in your campaign, then there's merit to having a variety of characters
for sure,
and that's the best excuse that I can give this person. So, Hercules.
Oof.
What are we thinking for Hercules? Before I tell you what they listed Hercules as.
The mythological character of Hercules or the Disney character of Hercules, because
Disney.
Those are
first one then the other. First one then the other. Let's go strictly Disney for now.
Still a barbarian.
Yeah, I don't.
You're going Bard.
Barbarian.
Yeah, barbarian.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, Barb. Yeah. Not Bard.
His new name is Barb.
Yeah, I forget how confusing that gets.
I'm going to say Paladin.
I can understand Paladin.
Oath of Glory Paladin specifically. I know it's from Theros, and that's a lot of overlay, but literally his main point thing in the movie is he is trying to earn his personal glory to sit next to his divine father.
Yeah.
That's where I'm coming from for Oath of Glory Paladin.
I certainly like that better than Ranger.
Yeah. This list might have also dropped before Oath of Glory came out. So who knows?
Yeah, and Theros certainly leans into the theme. So yeah.
Yeah. They have him listed as a Monster Slayer Ranger.
I see where they're coming from with the 12 labors.
Yeah.
But that is kind of incidental and not what he was trying to do.
That's not Disney's Hercules.
Yeah.
And this goes into Josie's point. Are we going mythological or are we going Disney?
Yeah.
The Disney one, I would not accept Monster Slayer Ranger.
No.
Do we see him use a ranged weapon other than to bend his dagger into a boomerang?
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
He does use bows, but
okay.
Yeah.
Now in the myth, Monster Slayer would fit pretty well actually because that's kind of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
That's his.
Slays a lot of monsters.
I might say barbarian for the mythological because that's the whole thing that kicks it off. I
think he's taken a level or two in Ranger.
Yeah,
just to be better with that.
Not gonna lie, when I think of these characters, and specifically I think of them fighting, I suspect it's probably more the Kingdom Hearts versions of them that I have in my head than necessarily the actual animated versions.
You know what? That's reasonable. I
understand.
Yeah. No, that's canon. That's fine.
Totally fair.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember my little brother got stuck on the Hercules fighting Cerberus. And for 15 minutes straight, I just heard Danny DeVito yelling, "Get on the Hydra's back!" for 15 minutes straight in a goddamn loop. I was so mad.
Why would you ever be mad? That is Danny DeVito trying to lull you to sleep.
Because it's funny for the first 2 or 3 minutes. But once it gets to 15 minutes solid and just watching Pete fail over and over again, it gets a little frustrating.
Pete, get good. I don't know if he listens to this podcast.
He does. Hi, Pete. I love you.
Hi, Pete. I don't love you because I'm not related to you, but I respect you because you're Greg's brother.
You shouldn't.
Well, I do.
Pete,
I think you might be the better brother.
Pete, if you're thinking of a Christmas present for Greg, a new computer would be pretty awesome. Just saying.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. And also
a quieter house.
Yeah. Get him one of those signs that says no vehicles over 2 tons can go down this street.
It's the smaller ones that are louder, actually.
Well.
Actually.
No through traffic.
It's the small vehicles with the huge mufflers.
Ugh.
Next up, from Beauty and the Beast, we got the titular Beast.
Ooh.
That's a barbarian if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
That's they seem to agree. They made a shifter barbarian.
Yep.
Yeah, that checks out. That's entirely reasonable.
I'm going to scroll down to his stats here. So, Primal Path of the Beast.
Yep.
Obviously, noble background, neutral evil. Oh, there's some good stuff in here. I didn't scroll down for these. Yeah, the race is a Shifter Longtooth.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool. Barbarian class, noble background, neutral evil, and Path of the Beast Barbarian. Yeah, this is pretty cut and dry.
And a little sexy.
Noble background. I like that a lot. Yep. A little bit.
Oh, what's that one Tumblr post where it shows like the final transformation and it just shows Belle with an Uno
Change it
reverse
back.
card?
It's like, oh, cool.
I feel even more strongly about the live action version.
Put them back.
I refuse to watch that one.
I've seen it once and I feel so bad for Emma Watson. They should have either gotten somebody to voice that over, let her sing it on her own, or just picked a different actress. But the way they auto-tuned that girl was a sin.
Yeah.
And the Beast turns into some ugly white dude. Ruins the whole thing. Ruined it.
I mean, to be fair, that part was faithful.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm still mad about it, though.
Emma probably was consoled by the dump truck full of money they backed up to her house to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think she's not that materialistic in my view. She's already got the books. What does she need money for?
Yeah.
I thought the Beast was a dump truck full of money. You see that Taylor suit he was wearing?
Nothing happened. Everything's fine.
All right, coming up next, and I looked back ahead and everything. So it took me this long to realize that this list is not specific to Disney. I thought it was. When I Googled it, that's what come up.
In your defense, the tab does say Disney characters for D&D.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a
lie.
It does. Okay, yeah. The article is called Disney Characters for D&D. The actual PDF is Fairy Tale Characters for D&D. Favorite characters from Disney, Grimm's Tales, and mythology, which I will now forgive them more for making Hercules a monster slayer and making the dwarves paladins. So
yeah,
I apologize to myself and to the author. So
I will
that
never
being
forgive
said,
you.
Whether or not there's a Disney movie with them in there, Goldilocks is up next. And this is another one that like kind of has like Red Riding Hood fallacy going on where like they're not really adventurers.
Yeah, nothing really happened.
Hold on a minute. This bitch breaks into somebody's house,
right?
Eats their shit, hangs out in their bed, and then it turns out she's in a house full of bears. How does that not sound like an adventure? I'm desperate to know.
Hot take. I'll let you have it.
Thank you. I didn't mean to get so aggressive. I didn't realize I had such strong feelings. What
was her quest? What was her adventure?
Was to find a goddamn place to lie down. She'd been picking berries in the woods all day. Wants a nice hot meal and somewhere to rest her butt.
Guess in 37 years, I never thought about Goldilocks' intentions. Why was she there?
I've never realized.
What's her backstory?
I did not realize I was this much of a stan.
So obviously high, just clearly like she's like, oh my God, that porridge smells awesome. She just let herself in, tried some of it, like, no,
she's like 7.
Jim, this is a 4-year-old lost in the woods and you're accusing her of being high? Come on.
Oh, maybe she ate a psychedelic mushroom by mistake.
Yeah, like she ate the wrong berries or something like that.
Where is this girl's parents? Where is this girl's parents?
Maybe her parents' farm abuts the property of the bears and she's just wandered too far from the farmhouse.
So you guys are young. I grew up in the 70s and I'm here to tell you that like this kind of thing happened all the time. Just,
be like,
wander out the back.
In the yard.
Kids
exactly,
come back with the porch lights
all the time.
Get home from school at 2:30. Folks don't get home till 5. I had to stoke the wood stove to get the house warmed up and stuff like this. And and I had then the rest of the time was my own, so we could go wander around.
It was
in the woods
also
and stuff like that. So
coincidentally the start of the golden age of serial killers. So make of that information.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew.
Are you kidding? That was a perfect opportunity. I saw it.
It was.
Fun fact, the golden age of serial killers was named after Goldilocks.
And we're back.
She started the whole thing. She was trying to kill those bears. And they were lucky enough to have their errands run long. Goldilocks as a D&D character. Back on track.
Something druid. I'm calling it now.
You going druidic?
Yeah.
I think she's way too sneaky.
She's a rogue. She's total rogue. Yeah.
A bitch broke into their house.
And she's like a pain in the ass player rogue where everybody else is doing the main quest line. And she's like, no,
1,000%.
shit. There's a bear house there? What are they I'm looking through the window. Okay. There's just 3 bowls of porridge sitting there, okay? Oh, porridge. Yeah.
I'm going to eat all 3 of them.
Exactly.
She's arguably the most D&D character out of all of them thus far.
That is the most rogue response she could possibly have. Let's say you're in a party of 3 players.
And also,
and you go off on your own.
Can I roll to see how good the porridge is?
Eat all 3 of them.
Yeah. Can I roll to see how good the porridge is?
Yeah, do a temperature
7.
check.
Oh, it's too cold.
Do a temperature check.
Exactly.
They made her an inquisitive rogue, variant human, background investigator, class rogue, alignment neutral, with taking a feat. The variant human feat that you get at level 1, taking a magic initiate druid.
I'm pretty sure we're chaotic neutral there. That's chaotic neutral behavior.
What is the magic initiate druid feat?
Magic initiate gives you a couple of spells, 2 classes that can't normally cast them.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like they took Shillelagh, Magic Stone. Oh, there we go. You get 2 druid cantrips. So they took Magic Stone and Shillelagh, and 1 first level spell. They took Fairy Fire.
I was reading one of these other ones that somebody did, and they said that you cast Shillelagh, but you skin it as that's whacking somebody upside the head with your basket that you carry around with you, right?
Yeah.
Your little picnic basket or whatever.
Oh my god, wait, I think that was what they gave to Red Riding Hood, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me scroll a bit here. What did they give to Riding Hood? Was a
Shillelagh for basket whacking. Already. That's what it was. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
We're definitely works for her too. Yeah.
Also mending for fixing up Granny's cottage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cure wounds in case Granny takes a fall.
Sorry.
I like that.
I didn't mean to laugh at that. It's not funny.
So here's a character that you really have to give some follow-up when you say his name. There's a lot of this guy, and that's Prince Charming.
Oh.
I'm assuming Prince Charming, from Cinderella.
I believe there are several Prince Charmings. His name gets used a lot, and I think that's kind of like a general Brothers Grimm catch-all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, all the classic fairy tale writers. And they just kind of he doesn't need a name. He's
it's like calling him Prince Chad or something like that.
Just a dumb, pretty face. Don't worry about his name. He's interchangeable. Back when men were written as those kind of characters.
Pick a man, fill the role, fight the bad
pretty
guy.
Boy. Disney's quintessential pretty boy. What are we thinking here?
A knight.
Yeah, that Cavalier fighter choice is the obvious thing. Yeah.
So so they went with obviously race human, class fighter, background noble, lawful neutral. This is I would even say lawful good. Although one of the Prince Charmings is Snow White's, and he does kiss an unconscious girl that he finds in the forest. So that's a little weird.
Sleeping Beauties.
So maybe lawful neutral. Maybe chaotic good.
Kissing sleeping girls
that's
in early
a
Disney.
Move.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of kissing sleeping girl in Brothers Grimm.
It was a different time, okay?
It's arguably much worse than the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
We will not get into that.
Oh, some of their stories are great.
Oh, they're all great.
Oh, the dark versions are fantastic.
Oh, they're horrific though.
Yeah, that's the point. It's not Brothers Cuddly.
Their name is Grimm.
I feel like they were a little pigeon-toed and a little pigeonholed into that.
They could have also been pigeon-toed. You have no idea.
Yeah, the Cavalier archetype, love it. He's frequently seen on a horse. This is fantastic. And he has a magic harp. The self-playing harp grants the singer advantage to performance checks, and they give his warhorse its own stats. It's Wild Stallion.
Nice,
spelled the same way as as Bill and Ted's Band.
Hell yeah,
Wild Stallion.
Good God.
Good reference.
Wait, you skipped the best part. Some days when court is oppressively boring and no noble ladies have come to call, he takes up the moniker Prince Harming and goes adventuring with commoners hired to play the roles of mercenary adventurers who also ensure his safety and maximum publicity exposure. That is on the character sheet for him, like the stat block, right above where it says character build.
In the full listing down on the bottom.
Yeah.
Some days when court is oppressively boring and no noble ladies have come to call, he takes up the moniker Prince Harming and goes adventuring with commoners. That is such a good plot hook.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bit of a fop. And gleaming in his ultra shiny armor, he's not going to sneak up on anyone, especially with his crier with the trumpet announcing his arrival. That said, he's not half bad with that gold inlaid sword. Plus, he works out.
I really want to play Prince Harming now. That is such a good hook. Good for you, man.
See, like some of these are kind of closer to a miss for me. And then I read the like character that they've built for it. I'm like, okay, you might have redeemed yourself a little bit. This seems kind of fun.
I'm bringing this to the next one shot and see if anybody notices. Cinderella. I'm just going to read the whole thing now because apparently there's gold in these. Cinderella is a beautiful, talented, but severely repressed young lady. Her magical connection with nature is as undeniable as her charm. But when you meet Cinderella, a closet wizard who has been picking up all sorts of tricks from her fairy godmother, you would have to wonder, what is real? Cinderella has access to two unique familiar options, Dove and Mouse. She's just as magical. So they made Cinderella a human wizard with the inheritor background, lawful good, and taking the School of Illusion.
Yeah, I can also see Warlock, Pact of the Archfey for Cinderella as well.
Yeah,
fairy godmother and Archfey. I like that a lot.
Yep, makes more sense to me than having to be
I like
wizard.
that better than wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, someone else is the one casting the magic.
Yeah,
I like that they that they
I
made
would
her.
argue she's just a human.
Well, she is until the Archfey cast the magic on her.
Yes,
and she has some control over it at that point. Plus, she does have the talk to animals thing going on.
Yeah, and they also make her glass slipper into like a super complex, like overbaked magic item too. So.
Yeah, the glass MacGuffin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got her clicking her heels like she's fucking Dorothy. There's no place like a fashion show. I'm crossing that out. You don't get that one. Absolutely not.
Where do you see that?
Girls like clothes.
Oh yeah.
Lol. Yeah. No,
glass slipper of the fashionista. Once per day, the attuned wearer can click their heels together 3 times and say there's no place like a fashion show and transmute their clothing into whatever form they desire. The properties of the clothing change to match the appearance. For instance, furs keep the wearer warm. Altered clothing does not change the bearer's AC, reverts at midnight or when the slippers are removed. Glass slippers must be removed as a bonus action, yada, yada, game text. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's no place like a fashion show.
That's
maybe not the
that's the Wizard of Oz.
Feminist icon you were hoping for.
Lame. Yeah.
I'm agitated.
So the wizard angle's all right.
If you want to do
I really
that,
like the Pact of the Pep. I really like the Pact of the Archfey.
If you want to do that with the glass slipper, you should say there's no place like a blank, whatever event you want to go to, and then it will transform you into clothes appropriate to that event. So if you say there's no place like a ball, there's no place like a coronation, there's no place like a gladiatorial arena fight, poof, and then you are in clothes appropriate for whatever that is. I think that makes that a way more interesting magic item.
There's no place like this dive tavern we're about to go to.
Yeah, if you say there's no place like a fashion show, your ass is going to end up in some weird avant-garde clothing bullshit that's not meant to be worn anywhere than the catwalk.
Like when Lady Gaga was dressed up as chairs with a giant shoulder thing.
Yeah.
Or the egg in the meat dress.
Mm-hmm.
We could be here for the rest of the episode listing the weird outfits Lady Gaga has.
I love them so much.
I do too.
We're moving on.
But
okay,
we're moving on.
But that's why we're going to move on right now. I got Rapunzel, and we've argued over this one before, and
that's my little bimbo.
Like that this one kind of sticks with it. Still haven't watched Tangled, even though we did that episode like a year and a half ago.
You're fucking up.
But yeah, listen, I know it's supposed to be really good. I have like 8 seconds in a day to spare, and I spend it podcasting with you assholes.
Well, to your prerogative.
With her magic healing hair, enchanting singing voice, and her helpful animal friends, Rapunzel is the perfect addition to any adventuring team. And that frying pan. So they're very clearly going with the Tangled version of Rapunzel.
Yeah.
Well, that's because she's a bad bitch in that movie.
I know. She holds her own. What's the princess name in that one?
Eugene.
There is no prince.
Yes.
No, there is no prince.
Or whatever he is. Whatever he is.
He's a prince in his heart.
The male protagonist. How about that?
Yeah,
he has a princely heart.
It's just he has a roguish heart.
She's
Greg, I will freak out. You're gonna give me a stroke.
So they made her a human, they multi-classed her.
Ooh.
Level 1 Bard, and at level 2 she goes Cleric.
I can see that.
Yeah.
With a hermit background, lawful good.
Her healing hair, yeah.
And yeah, first level you start as Bard, and levels 2 and 3 you go 2 levels Cleric.
Why do you not just keep her at Bard all the way to level 3?
Because she'd be in her tower singing to herself and painting and creating art, and then she leaves her tower and discovers the power of nature and her healing hair that glows.
Mm-hmm.
Have you also not watched Tangled, Jim?
I actually have not watched Tangled.
Jim,
Jim,
you have homework.
Jim,
you have homework. It's to watch fucking Tangled, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you me?
Yeah, Jim, what are you doing? What are you doing, Jim?
Jason, I'll fuck your day up.
I mean, mechanically, it's so you get Bard spells and things like that. So their spell list, they took Bard spells, they took Color Spray, Fairy Fire, Heroism, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And Cleric spells, they took Animal Friendship, Speak with Animals, Cure Wounds, Bless, Guiding Bolt, Shield of Faith, Sanctuary, and Protection from Evil.
Yeah, I think they literally took some timestamps and it's like, that's what that spell would be.
Yeah. They did give you a homebrew magic item in a +1 frying pan. Rare magic item. Rapunzel's frying pan has a base stats of a club with the light property with +1 to hit and damage. Also has the versatile property, so it's 1d4 or 1d6 for 1 and 2 handed attacks.
I would play the shit out of this character.
Good low level.
This kind of makes me want to go back and watch Tangled and try to identify the points where they're like, I see you've picked that as the reason for the spell.
So the stats for the magic hair. Rapunzel's healing abilities are limited to contact with her hair, which has the reach property of 10 foot. When Rapunzel rolls for healing, she can re-roll 1s and 2s, but must keep the new rolls. Her hair is prehensile, meaning that she can control it to a degree, per the cantrip Prestidigitation. It serves as 25 feet of rope and can be used to restrain grapple targets. The hair's protection increases her AC by +2. The magic does not work with heavy armor, and its sense of style is offended by shields.
Fair.
I like
reasonable.
That a lot.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. I don't know if I would give a PC that, but as an NPC or even a DM PC, I love this.
Yeah. So I went and watched the trailer for this Rapunzel thing.
What, just now?
I can't help but
notice.
Tangled.
Like while we're recording?
It's called multitasking, Jason.
Jim, you have a task at hand here.
I can't help but notice that in a 2-minute and 32-second trailer, the first 50 full seconds of it are that dude, and we don't even see her until like a minute into it. Is that indicative of the movie as a whole? Or
no, because he also narrates at the beginning that this is the story of how he died.
Oh, okay. All right.
Spoilers.
It's, as I just said, it is the opening of the movie.
Don't spoil the beginning of a movie, Josie.
All right, well, maybe if you would go and watch it wouldn't be a spoiler for you.
Furious that Josie just spoiled a decade-old children's movie for me.
She spoiled the first 5 minutes of a 10-year-old movie. Up to the next Disney character, I've got Aladdin. So Aladdin, it almost seems like it's almost too easy to make him a rogue.
Yeah,
because he clearly starts as a rogue, at least in Disney version, and the Thousand Arabian Nights too. But 1001, sorry. But they went to a warlock with a genie patron.
I like that a lot, actually. Defy that stereotype. They're better than a rogue.
They did that thing I was talking about earlier, where at 3rd level he gets to dip in and get the Find Familiar spell so that he can have the monkey as an actual familiar that can actually like help him do stuff. So I like that. Yeah.
I said, Aladdin's pact with the genie of the lamp is legendary. After rescuing the genie from imprisonment, Aladdin was gifted with arcane abilities. As a warlock, Aladdin sticks to what he's best at, sneaking around and tricking people. But the genie did slip a few potent powers in there to make sure Aladdin was safe while zipping around on a magic carpet. Armor of Shadows and Eldritch Concentration as his Eldritch invocations. And at 3rd level, he goes Pact of the Chain, so we can use Find Familiar. So some custom items here. We got Diamond of Deceit. Once per day, touch this diamond in the rough to an object or person and say a command to cast either Distort Value or Disguise Self.
I like that.
I like Distort Value on Aladdin. Disguise Self makes a lot of sense too, but I like Distort Value. Almost, it's one of those spells that like gets really easily forgotten.
Really, yeah.
And it's kind of cool
principally for role playing. So
exactly. And then Carpet of Flying, which I believe is a real item. The carpet moves or flies according to your spoken directions, provided that you're within 30 feet of it. The carpet is 4x6 and bears 400 pounds, 60-foot flying speed, or half speed with twice as much weight.
But if there's a flying character, it will destroy all my plots.
Sucks to suck.
Get better plots.
Sucks to suck.
Sorry, that's just so like.
I feel that trigger a memory in you.
What do I do now that my characters have flying? Yeah, sorry. That's and
then the spells known are Charm Person,
Lament,
Hex, Thunderwave, Find Familiar, and Find Familiar as a ritual. So you can always grab your grab Apu.
Sure.
And Phantasmal Force.
It's Abu. You're thinking of the character from The Simpsons.
Did I say Apu?
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get it wrong. I'm like, I knew it's one of those. It's upside down. Just kind of flip that.
Oh, his intelligence is 3.
It's true.
Who's his?
He's just a little guy. He's just a little man.
Page. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't look at the next page.
Surprise.
It's got a familiar monkey.
And I kind of like that some of those spells like Thunderwave and Phantasmal Force and stuff, you can skin as it's the genie actually coming down to do something. Kind of Disney style, right? Yeah. Because like the Disney genie is a lot more active, kind of day to day.
Would you play this character as one that follows the genie's 3 rules? Can't bring people from the back from the dead. Can't kill anybody. Can't make you fall in love.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially that third one is a safety and consent thing.
Yeah,
that's the killing people thing. Like, I feel like that has to get hand waved somehow. You can't play a proper D&D campaign without killing.
Well, yeah, you just say you can't kill someone who hasn't wronged you or something like that. Tried to kill you first, whatever.
I'm saying like you wouldn't use like power word kill or something.
He's a neutral good character in the first place. So
sure,
if you're playing true to that alignment, you're not just going to go around murder hoboing. That's the second genie rule: no murder hobo.
Sure. Yeah. I could say something like the genie will give you the power to do whatever you want. He himself will not interfere or kill somebody.
Yeah.
There's ways around it. This is almost a too easy one. Elsa.
A child of mixed birth and magic of water and ice, Elsa, the Ice Princess, is a perfect match for the innate magic of the sorcerer class.
Is this easy enough? We just want to let it go, Jason?
Yeah, we'll just let it go.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
really, Josie?
I'm gonna
take all the time you need with that joke.
No, I'm just mad.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. I can't hold it back anymore. I'm gonna leave.
Josie's like, I'll just read the next one then.
Okay, it's fine.
So we got a half-elf sorcerer, background Waterhaven noble, and chaotic good. I do like that for her.
Yeah.
Storm sorcery origin, and a third level we're taking careful spell and transmuted spell meta magic.
Amulet of Agathis.
Read us the Amulet of Agathis, Josie.
This amulet on a necklace brooch has 3 charges of the spell Armor of Agathis, which recharges on a long rest. Charges can be spent individually, multiplied, or all at once as an action. Each charge provides 5 temporary hit points, which deal up to 5 cold damage to a melee attacker for each point of damage dealt to the bearer. Lasts up to 1 minute. Oh, and this ice armor is stylish.
Of course it's stylish. Yeah, it's a little funny wording on that sentence there.
I didn't do my
Elsa as a sorcerer
tongue twister thing.
Right.
I didn't do my little tongue twister things before this.
The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
Unique.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you for warming me up afterwards.
Yep. Great job. Killing it, Josie. Glad you're here. Elsa as a sorcerer, this is pretty cut and dry. This is, she's born with the power. That's a sorcerer.
I like the little wind jump they give her is fun too.
Yeah.
That's a cool little spiff.
And a lot of ice theming in the spells. Cantrips, Frostbite, Ray of Frost, Dancing Lights, Shape Water. First level, Ice Knife, Fog Cloud, Absorb Elements. And second level, Rhymes Binding Ice.
And specifically that meta magic that lets her exclude allies from area effect spells is a really good one too. So you can...
is that careful spell?
Help her fucking sister. Yeah.
Well, okay.
So sorry.
It's supposed to. That's how it's supposed to work.
Spoilers.
Anyway. Yeah.
Stop spoiling old children's movies.
Never. Watch old children's movies. Watch not even old children's movies. Fuck out of here.
Yes, it's not that old. Peter Pan. Getting back to classic Disney. The leader of the Lost Boys clan is no child. Pan is a fairy, though he doesn't have wings, which let him get away with pretending. He's got his own magic with which he flies and makes all manner of mischief. His ineffable sense of adventure leads Pan and the Lost Boys to clash with traders, pirates, and anyone who wanders too close to the Isle of Neverland. Pan's history of alleged abductions remains controversial, though most contend Pan just shelters and aids runaways. This is aside from the question of whether the children are running away because Peter encouraged them. When Pan leaves Neverland in search of adventure, his vast skill set and unending inspirational attitude make him a perfect addition to any team if you can handle his pranks. I like making him a fairy race.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, that completely makes sense. Yeah.
There's a really great book series that talks about the origin of Peter Pan called Peter and the Starcatchers that I'm just going to plug real quick. It's great. I love Peter Pan. I also love the person on TikTok that does all of the lore of Peter Pan. I'm just very excited about this character. Sorry.
So we have a third level bard, College of Lore, which making him a trickster kind of gives him a lot of proficiencies and expertise. Background as a barbarian tribe member, chaotic good. I like that a lot.
Yep.
And the fairy race. I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
A couple of custom items here. We got Pan's flute. Once per day, Peter can play his flute and call on its fey magic to cast one spell from the list: Calm Emotions, Enthrall, or Invisibility.
Ooh.
Is one of them free per day. Dust of Flying. Peter has a pouch with dust of flying derived from pixie dust. Sprinkling dust on nearby creatures grants the abilities of the fly spell. The pouch is a demi-planar object like a secret chest, which grants Peter Pan access to the hoard of pixie dust of a clan of pixies on Neverland. Each day, the pouch has a random 1d4 number of uses.
That's great. That's how it works.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Very, very thematic. Up to your DM if giving your entire party fly once per day is a little OP.
I think that could be fun.
Only for an hour.
Play around it.
So,
It is only for an hour and only once per day, and not always all players.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 1d4 amount of uses, maybe you don't have a lot that day.
I would argue that he's closer to chaotic neutral than chaotic good. Peter Pan doesn't do things because they're good or bad. He does them because they are fun.
True.
I like that.
I have a lot of feelings about Peter Pan and his lore.
Spells, he's got Vicious Mockery, Blade Ward, Silvery Barbs, of course he does. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Healing Word, Fairy Fire, and Enhance Ability.
Sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it.
So that's it for the list there with the fully fleshed out characters. There are stat blocks for everything. Link to all this is in the show notes.
Do we want to do the three honorable
mentions?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That was what I was going to ask.
Couple honorable mentions that didn't get full stat blocks. So maybe if you want to use these as a jumping off point, make them yourself. Hansel and Gretel, they have them as monks, variant humans with the Mage Slayer feat. I think be able to shove a witch into an oven is a Mage Slayer. I think that's not too bad.
Sure. That's another one where that story feels like their origin story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like their background story. Yeah.
I was just going to say they don't feel
trauma that turned them into adventurers.
We killed a witch in her own house after she tried to eat us.
Yeah.
They got a taste for it. Yeah.
After we ignored stranger danger for like a long time.
Well, they were starving and she had a house made of food.
It was before stranger danger.
All right, fair.
That wasn't until the 80s.
Strangers were.
They didn't decide to start looking for those kids until the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I like this character as being even lumped in with fairy tale characters, but I'm going to read it anyway. Kevin McAllister, Macaulay Culkin himself. I think they just wanted to ham fist Kevin McAllister into their list here.
I think that's fair.
Put him on whatever. It's their list.
Sure.
But
he made him a tiefling artificer. I like a trap maker as an artificer.
I don't necessarily see the point in making
Weird that he's
him a
on this list, though.
But
I don't see the point of him being on this fucking list.
He's a gnome. He's a little gnome. He's a tiny little gnome person. Yeah.
He's just a little man.
Yeah, weird pick,
home.
Dan. Weird pick, Dan.
Maybe he's just really into Home Alone.
Maybe. But like, have a separate sheet for that.
No.
The Frog Prince, he has as a bullywug bard.
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. So that is a brief overview of the Fairy Tale D&D characters list. Not the Disney characters list. Right. Link to this will be in the show notes. Go check it out. Read along with us. That's all I got for today. I miss doing episodes like this. I want to bring things back to those roots.
It's a lot of fun.
And they lived happily ever after.
If only. That's it for this one. Greg's here, Josie's here, Jim's here. If you like this episode, if you like the show, even just a little bit, even if you don't like the show, I don't give a shit. Whether you like the show or not, if you made it this far, if you can just please share this episode with your favorite adventurers. I'm sure you play with somebody, and I'm sure you're playing D&D with somebody out there, and they may appreciate as much as you do, because we can absolutely use the numbers. But it doesn't cost you anything. It's awesome. And you get to you have someone to talk about the show with too. So that's my big ask for you, and we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Oh boy.
Thank you for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Please share this with your favorite adventurers. Leave a review on Apple and follow us on social media. All links can be found at curmudgeonsanddragons.com. Practice safe adventuring, my friends.
This has been a JTP Audio podcast. Thanks for listening.